What's up, everyone? How about another Netflix movie review right now? Because we've got a sequel to 2017's The Babysitter, and this time around it's called The Babysitter Killer Queen. The story in this one takes place 2 years after the events of that first film. Cole is still mighty rattled about what he went through that night, but the thing is, no one believes it actually happened to him because Bea and her friends just disappeared. But Killer Queen brings those cult members back, and now Cole has to defend himself yet again, but this time while on a trip to the lake with his classmates. So, my read on The Babysitter Killer Queen? If you like the first movie and have absolutely any interest in reuniting with these characters, you'll probably have some good fun with it again. But if that 2017 movie was too much for you, too over the top, or just plain old didn't work, don't see this one, because Killer Queen is basically McG and his team taking what they did in the first Babysitter movie, doing it again, and going even bigger with the concept in many ways. For me, though, I was a big fan of that first movie, so I did enjoy this new installment well enough. That being said, though, I do have to admit that this one isn't nearly as refined, and I would say that the percentage of jokes and gags that actually work in this one is far lower. For example, I did find that a lot of the movie references in that first film play very organically, especially when they're tied to Cole and Bea's relationship. Here, however, that is not really the case, and some of those callbacks felt fairly forced and/or landed with a bit of a thud. Even though the first film was quite heightened, there were still enough grounded elements to it to make the threat feel real and also to make Cole's defense tactics kind of plausible. That goes out the window here almost entirely. And when it came to the big action set pieces, I didn't mind the super heightened vibe much. It's entertaining, and I was impressed by some of the blood and gore gags. I took more of an issue with it, though, when it came to the little things, like let's say Cole misplacing a school paper, and when he finds it, it just so happens his parents left their brochure for a psychiatric academy they plan to send him to right underneath it. But what does work well for me with this Babysitter sequel? It's one of the parts that I like most about the first film. It's the cast. And this first example here, it's not even just about him fitting the role perfectly. It's a lot more than that, because Judah Lewis is an all-around talent. There is a lot for Cole to take in this movie, and he's got to go on quite the journey if he begins the film with loads of fear and self-doubt and then has to stand up for himself. Lewis can just handle it all, and he does so with an impressive amount of heart and nuance when he's right smack in the middle of this absolutely wild scenario. This time around also, we get more of Emily Allen Lind as Cole's next-door neighbor and crush Melanie, but I actually think Killer Queen still could have used more of her, especially with what this installment challenges her to do, because I think she is someone that really could have risen to the occasion, even more so than what they asked of her. And here's another name that you're going to want to remember, because she's been popping up all over the place, and while I don't necessarily think the Babysitter Killer Queen makes the absolute most of her ability, Jenna Ortega is a true talent that I really do think is going to wind up being pretty big. As for our returnees from the original cult, they're all real good in the roles all over again. Stereotypes and just super big personalities to the max again here, and Robbie Amell, Hannah Mae Lee, Bella Thorne, and Andrew Batchelor just seem to love playing these characters, and you can feel it when you're watching them. I'm going to give the movie 2.5 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimovie scale, leaning towards recommending it for folks who really dug the first and just want to be back with these characters and in this scenario, even if this time around they do go too big and it's an often outlandish ride. If there is a third movie, I do kind of hope that McG reins it back in a little, but the fact that I am talking about a potential third movie at all right now has to mean the sequel did something for me. So there you guys go. Those are my thoughts on The Babysitter Killer Queen. If you opt to check the movie out, share your own thoughts in the comment section below. I really do want to know what you think about this one. If you want another movie, tell me about it. Before I leave you, we've got a very, very special Patreon shout out right now, because it's my top tier folks here. We've got Luke, Billy, Evan, Ian, Rosa, and Caleb. We talk on Slack, so I hope you guys know this, but I really appreciate your continued support and also just all the good vibes you bring to the Patreon community. Seriously, thank you guys so much. Also, big thanks to everybody out there for watching this video. Do not leave without liking and sharing it, and I'll see you soon with more movie reviews.